Good morning, students. Welcome to the business management class. I'm your tutor, Koyo Apia Odei. Today, we continue our discussion on partnerships. Partnerships. Last time we met, we looked at partnerships, the meaning of partnership, its features, and we also look at the partnership deed. The partnership deed. Today, we're going to continue by looking at the formation, the benefits, challenges, and sources of funding for partnerships. So today we're going to look at the formation, benefits, challenges, and sources of funding for partnerships. So let's quickly look at how partnerships are formed. Partnerships are formed. I think we are aware partnership is a business that is formed by a group of people, and it's quite different from the sole proprietorship, which is a one-man business. So today we're going to look at how partnerships are formed. Now, forming a partnership business in Ghana involves several legal and procedural steps to ensure compliance with the regulatory bodies. The key steps in the process are: one, choose business partners. Choose business partners. So, with this, we're saying that select reliable partners who share similar business goals and values. Partners could be friends, family members, or individuals with similar mindsets about business. So, this where two or more people are coming together to form a business. And it is advisable that you set up business with people that you can trust. So you look to your within your close knit family and friends and try to set up the business with them. So it's important that you choose partners, you choose people that you trust so that you set up the business with them. So choose your business partners, and with that, select people that you share the same goals and values with, and that you can trust so that you set up the business with them. The second point we want to look at is draft a partnership agreement. Now, with this, we are saying that because a partnership involves two or more people, and there is the tendency for disagreements to occur, we need to have an agreement between ourselves. I mean, the partners. You must have an agreement among yourselves. You must agree on certain things, which has the tendency to, arouse some disagreement, so that when those things happen, we will find a way of resolving it. So, with that, we need a partnership agreement. So, we're saying that although not legally required, a partnership agreement helps prevent disputes. This agreement should include the business name and purpose. So you must know what name you want to choose for the business. You must agree on that. And what's the purpose of the business? What do you want to use the business to do? In the last discussion, I mentioned that maybe a group of doctors come together. That it means that you want to set up a hospital and maybe use it to provide healthcare services. If it's a group of teachers, then the purpose is to go into education, maybe set up a school and all that. It says if it is a group of lawyers coming together, then of course a law firm to provide legal services. So you must know what purpose the business is for. So the agreement should include business name and purpose, partner contributions, profit and loss sharing ratio, roles and responsibilities, conflict resolution procedures, conditions for admitting or removing partners, and the process for dissolving the partnership if necessary. So you must agree on how much people have contributed by way of partner contributions, how profit and loss will be shared. So the profit and loss sharing ratio must be agreed upon and set out in the partnership agreement. The roles and responsibilities. What are the roles of each partner? What is the role of each partner? So you must state what each partner is supposed to do, the role that they are supposed to play, and what responsibilities they may also have. It has to be stated. And how do you, the procedure that you want to adopt when there is a conflict, and how you want to resolve it. So whether we want to go for arbitration or mediation or whatever, it must be agreed upon and stated in the partnership agreement. What are the conditions for admitting or removing partners? So if you want to admit a new partner, what are the conditions? And what are the conditions if we want to remove a partner? And the process for dissolving the partnership if necessary. So when you get to a point and we feel that whatever we set out the partnership to achieve, it has achieved that objective, and there is the need for us to dissolve the partnership, how should we go about it? It's also important to register the business name. So the partnership, I think we said that in the agreement, we must agree on what name to choose for the partnership. When we have chosen that, the process of the formation include that we go to the office of the Register of Companies. This office used to be called the Registrar General's Department in Ghana, and then go and conduct a name search to confirm that the business name is unique. We don't want a situation where business names may conflict. So, for instance, there is only one St. Hubert Seminary School in Ghana. You cannot have another St. Hubert Seminary School, and that means that the name in Kumasi here, that name may conflict. So when we are setting up a business, the name you choose for the business, we don't want the name to be duplicated by another business. So before you register the business, you go to the office of the Registrar of Companies, which, as I said earlier, used to be called the Registrar General's Department. And then all businesses are registered with them. So when you go, they will search through the computer and find out if the name you have chosen has already been chosen by another business. Because if that happens, then they will say that the name has already been chosen, and so you have to go for another name. But if the name you chose is not taken already, then you can use that name. So go and do a name search, and if the name has not been chosen, then you register the business name that you have chosen. Obtain a business registration certificate. So after you have after submitting the required documents and paying the registration fees, the business will receive a certificate of registration from the Registrar General's Department as a proof of legal recognition. So the Registrar General's Department, which, as I said, is now called the Office of the Registrar of Companies, they will register your business and issue you a business registration certificate that will state that this business by so and so name has been registered with us to undertake business activities. The next point is register for tax identification number, what we call the TIN or TIN. Each partner must obtain a tax identification number from the Ghana Revenue Authority. The partnership itself must also be registered for tax purposes, including corporate tax and VAT if applicable. So what we are saying is that when you register the business name and you get your business certificate, you have to go to the Registrar General's Department also to register for what we call a tax identification number. Now we are going to use the partnership to run business, and you are going to make profit. And it is only right that as a law-abiding citizen, you pay taxes after you generated some income. So when the business operates and make profit, you are supposed to pay tax. So you register for the tax identification number, which will be used to pay taxes. Aside the business name or the business which will be required to pay tax, the partners are also required to pay tax. So each partner must also register for his or her own tax identification number. The next point is that open a business bank account. So you must have an account at a bank into which all business transactions with money from the business transactions will be paid, because we cannot be operating a business and then we will be putting the revenue we receive into one of the partners' bank account. If tomorrow that partner decides that you want to bolt with the money, what are we going to do? So please, it's advisable that you open a bank account in the name of the business so that proceeds from the business can be paid into that account. Also, obtain business permits and licenses. Now, depending on the industry, the partnership must secure the necessary permits from relevant authorities. For example, food-related businesses need approval from the Food and Drugs Authority, the FDA, while businesses that impact the environment may require permits from the Environmental Protection Agency. Additionally, all businesses must obtain a business operating permit from the local municipal assembly. So what we are saying is that if the business is into food production or drug production, then you will need authorization or permit from the FDA, the Food and Drugs Authority. If the business is into other things apart from food and drugs, then you need also to go to the standard authority, the Ghana Standard Authority, for them to also give you permit. Now, if the business is into, for instance, you are running a filling station, your activity has impact on the environment. You are running a mining business. You are running other businesses that have impact on the environment. You are supposed to go to the Environmental Protection Agency for them to give you a permit to do that. Also, the district or the municipal assembly within which, the municipality within which, or the metropolitan area within which you are located, you will need a permit from the metropolitan assembly, the municipal assembly, or the district assembly. And that is what we call the business operating permit. So you go to them for that as well. Today, we continue our discussion on partnerships. Last time we met, we looked at partnerships, the meaning of partnership, its features, and we also look at the partnership deed. Today, we're going to continue by looking at the formation, the benefits, challenges, and sources of funding for partnerships. So today we're going to look at the formation, benefits, challenges, and sources of funding for partnerships. Now, of partnerships. Benefits of partnerships. Number one, easy formation. Partnerships are easy to form with fewer formalities and paperwork compared to other business structures like corporations or companies. So, with a partnership, as we said, uh, all you need is maybe to be able to fashion out your partnership agreement. The agreement is even not a requirement by the law, but it helps because you are going to deal with people. People's mind may change when they see money and all that. So it's important that you agree on some things, you document it. It becomes a binding agreement to help you. So aside that, it is easy to form. You just go to the registrar general, I think, or the office of register of companies, and then each partner, your details will be collected. You maybe present your Ghana card, and then they register the business in the name of the partners. Then shared decision making. Decision making is a collaborative process in partnerships. This shared responsibility ensures that major business decisions consider the inputs and perspectives of all partners. So, because the business is owned by two or more people, we are saying that decisions must be taken collectively. It will not be right that um, let's say we have five partners, then just one person, in the absence of the four, you take some decisions that will be binding on the rest of the four. So it's important that we share decision, we come together, the partners come together and take major decisions so that once the decision is taken by all of them, it becomes the responsibility of all partners to ensure that the decisions that were taken are, are implemented or adhered to for the success of the business. Now, access to complementary skills and knowledge. Partnership also allow you to tap into diverse expertise. Each partner brings unique skills, experience, and perspectives. For example, one partner may excel in sales, while another is a certified accountant or marketing expert. Now, we are saying that because the partners are coming from different, sometimes they may come from a different background or people with, variety of skills. So, for instance, I mentioned that a group of doctors can come together, but these may be doctors who have skills, who have specialized in different areas. So, it maybe we have one who is a gynecologist, we have one who is a pediatrician, we have one who is a urologist, I mean, and so on and so forth. So, these are several, different areas of medicine. So, when they come together, the partnership enjoys this diverse expertise and it is put to bear and it helps the business because the expertise are varied, their skills, their knowledge are varied, and they are going to use it to promote the activities of the business. Less financial burden. Sharing startup costs and expenses with partners eases the financial strain. Additionally, having multiple partners enhances borrowing capacity as risk is distributed among them. Banks are more inclined to extend credit to partnerships than to sole proprietorships. So, you see, when we start a partnership, because we have several partners coming together, each contribute something, and it helps for the burden of. So, like if an individual wanted to start up a particular business, so let's say you wanted to set up a water bottling company, and maybe you need 100 million cedis to start. One person coming up with this money may be difficult, but because it's a partnership, if each person brings something, we will be able to raise that amount. So that burden which one person would have borne is now spread, and then everybody pays something. Then we are saying that also banks are more comfortable dealing with partnerships than sole proprietorships, because banks know that, for instance, if a sole proprietor, you go for a loan from a bank and you pass on, you pass away, you die, it will be difficult for the bank to retrieve that money. But if you're a partnership, you are 3 or 4 people. If one is no more, the other, let's say you have 4 people. If one is no more, the other 3 are there. The bank can fall on them and take their money. So the partnership provides some form of security to banks. Business continuity. There is high continuity in partnership than a sole proprietorship. A well-structured partnership agreement ensures that the business can continue in one or more partners if one or more partners leave. If one or more partners leave. Yeah. So we are saying that because there are several people that have come together to form the partnership, if one of the partners leave, maybe by way of death, retirement, or just left, I won't do it again. The other partners, I told you the other day, that all that they have to do is to inform the registrar that maybe a partner has left, so we are reorganizing the partnership among, maybe we started with 4 or 5 people, one has left, it's remaining the 4 of us. We are 5, one is left, it's remaining the 4 of us. We want to continue, then you continue. So there's that kind of business continuity, because when one is not there, the others can continue. Although I told you the other day that technically the original partnership you started with has ended, but you can still continue just by informing the registrar that this person has left, but we intend to continue, maybe with the same name, but with now 4 partners instead of the original 5 we started with. Risk sharing. Financial and operational risks are distributed among partners, reducing individual liability. I think, as I said, if the business makes losses and we have to pay, now it's going to be distributed among partners. So it's not just one person. If we need to provide some capital, it is shared among all the partners. So it's not a burden of just one person. So this reduces the individual liability among partners. Now let's look at challenges of partnerships. After we just look at benefits, so let's look at challenges. Unlimited liability. Partners in a general partnership have unlimited liability, personal liability for business debts, risk, risking personal assets. So what we are saying is that I think we all now understand unlimited liability. Now this is where if the business run into debt, the debt will have to be paid, or any liability, it has to be paid by all the partners. So until the debt of the business has been paid, the partners, you will not know any peace. You are liable. So the partners have unlimited personal liability for the debt of the business. Conflict of interest. Differences in opinion and values among partners can lead to conflict, impacting the working relationship. So what we are saying is that now there is a business that several people have come together. Their opinions may be different, their values may be different, and that can lead to conflict. Although that's why I said that before you register the business, look for people that are like-minded, that you share the same values with. You are more comfortable working with them because your goals are aligned, your values are aligned. Otherwise, you are likely to fall into conflict. So when these conflicts are such that it is difficult to manage them, it may lead to, poor working relationships, which may ultimately affect the business and the business growth and all that. So it's important that you look for people that you share, same values with, so that you set up the business with them. Dependency on partners. Partnerships rely heavily on each member, and the departure of a partner can disrupt business operations. Now, you see, I still keep going back to the example of maybe the doctors, a group of doctors that come together to form a partnership by running a hospital, which is a partnership. Now, in such situation, let's say that this hospital, there's one, maybe we have a gynecologist, and that person is very good and he's made a name for himself. So, though we have GPs like general practitioners who people will come there for headache, whatever, but the hospital is quite popular because of that, the expertise of the gynecologist that is there. So you have a lot of pregnant women coming there and all that. People coming there for gynecological issues. If that person leaves, it is going to draw a huge customer base out of your place because they were coming there because of maybe that one doctor. So supposing that one doctor leaves and say, I'm going to set up my own, private hospital somewhere, you are likely to, he's likely to move most of the patients that visit that hospital to that place. And this means that it's going to affect the business, the hospital business that we are running. So, because in partnership, it is more about the skill of the partners. There's a heavy dependency on partners, and this may disrupt business operations if that partner leaves the partnership. Decision making issues. Achieving consensus on decisions may be challenging, hindering business agility. Now, what we are saying is that it's not easy to make decisions among a lot of people. So sometimes you may have some people who are just uh, very controversial and very, very difficult to deal with. So if you are not lucky and one of the partners is like such, or then you are going to face troubles because sometimes just agreeing on some simple things, it may drag for a very long time. And so sometimes arriving at decisions quickly becomes a challenge because some issues may drag. Let's say you have plenty partners. Like if you have like maybe 15 partners and you want to take a decision and everybody's input must be, heard and thoroughly discussed and a consensus build on it, sometimes it becomes difficult. So that is one disadvantage of, or that is one of the challenges that partnerships face. Limited capital and resources, that's another point. Access to external funding may be difficult, limiting the business's growth potential. Now, sometimes it's difficult to come by what? Capital. So if, or I mean, source of resources by way of financial resource. So this is a challenge because, as I said, partnerships are quite similar to sole proprietorship because the business is not separate from the ownership, and so everything revolves around the owners. So if the owners of the business are not well resourced, they are not people who have money and they can contribute to the running. I mean, contribute financially in to provide some sort of capital for the running of the business, then it will be difficult to come by. I mean, money to run the business. Succession planning issues. So the situation where succession planning, simply we are talking about who takes over from a partner in the event that the partner is no more, maybe retires or dies. So we are saying that withdrawal, retirement, or death of a partner can disrupt the business without proper succession planning. Now we must have a plan. So for instance, a partner may nominate somebody that if in the event that I'm no more, this person should succeed me. Now, if such a plan is not made and put in place, then it will be difficult. In the event that one of the partners pass away, who should succeed that person in the business will become a problem. Now, even with that, let's say that there is a group of lawyers or a group of doctors that have come together to form a law firm or a hospital. Now, maybe one of the doctors is no more, and maybe the partners decide that okay, his child, maybe his son or daughter, should come and replace him or her. Now, the question is that person also a medical doctor? Does that person have the expertise which the father was having? So that is it. So if the person maybe who we may want to nominate to, or the person before he is deaf nominated to represent him or her, the question is, do such a person have the capacity? So if that person does not have the capacity, then definitely it's going to affect the business. So succession planning, who should represent who in the event that a partner withdraws, retires, or dies, that is a major problem. Sharing of profits. I think you know why I'm laughing. Money, as I said, when people see money, the color of their eye changes. So when you make profit, how do you share profit? Is it unlike sole proprietorship? Profits must be divided among partners, which sometimes leads to dissatisfaction. Now, that is why, to prevent some of these things, we say that we must have the partnership agreement, which we must agree on the ratio to share profits and put it down. But remember, I told you that the partnership agreement, it is not a legal requirement. That the law does not strictly, in the strict sense of it, require you to have it. So you can, people may set up a partnership without the partnership agreement, and then when they make profit and you want to share it, and now there is disagreement in respect of how the profit should be shared, it can lead to dissatisfaction amongst some of the partners, and this can cause the partnership to collapse. So that's why, to prevent that, it's important that we agree on some things, especially the ratio for sharing profit and loss, and put it down. So that is about profit sharing and the problems it portends, the problems it can create for the partnership. The next thing we want to look at is the sources of funding for partnerships. Sources of funding. The sources of funding for partnerships are quite similar to that of the sole proprietorships, except a few things that will change. Now remember that in the case of sole proprietorship, we said that the sole proprietor or the proprietor will have to contribute monies by way of personal savings. So with this, because the partnership is formed by partners, they will also have to contribute their personal savings as by way of contribution. So we call it partners contribution. So each partner must have to contribute something. Remember, I told you that what partners can contribute may be financial, where they can provide cash, money. It can also be by way of assets. Maybe they have one partner say, I have a building, I have a car, I have computers, I have some furniture, I want to contribute. So they must contribute one, financial, which is cash, or two, by way of asset. And then three, by way of expertise. Expertise. So when a partner is contributing expertise, that expertise must be quantified and then a value placed on it so that we can say that the partner has also contributed a certain value, so that we can also use that to determine how profit and loss should be set. Bank loans. This is simply going to the bank and taking a loan from the bank to help you run the business. So partnership also have access to bank loans. Partnerships can go to the bank and take loans. Trade credits. Now trade credits, as I explained to you when we treated sole proprietorship, this is where the partnership can go and buy some goods from another business on credit. Now, once that business has given you goods on credit, because you've not paid him, you are using money from that business to in your business activities, in your transaction, in your trading activities. And that is what we call trade credit. So that business's money is what you are using. So you can have access to that. Retain earnings. Now, as I mentioned the other time, when a business makes profits, it's important that part of the profits are retained in the business. The owners are not supposed to share all the profits among themselves and then consume it. But a part of the profit must also be retained in the business. Now, that part that is retained in the business can also be used to expand the business and to help it to grow. The next point is government grants and support programs. I think last time, remember I mentioned government support programs that are used to help businesses. So remember I mentioned NEIP, the National Entrepreneurship and Investment Program. So there are programs like that support businesses. So the partnership can take advantage of such government programs. And some of those programs, they provide grants. Government will give you grants. Quite recently, we've heard of Mahama's Nkoko Nketenkete program, for instance. They're saying that if you're able to provide your hen coop and they come and inspect and they see that, oh, you have a place where you can keep the best, they are going to give you the best and the feed for the best for a particular period of time. Now, that if they give you the best and then the feed, it is money. Because if they are giving you money, you are going to use it to buy those things. So those things are all part of grants which government gives to people. So you can take advantage of some of these programs. When you hear that there's some government programs, you can take advantage of that. Crowdfunding. I think we explained that the other time. Crowdfunding. That is where a group of people will finance your project. So this one, sometimes you launch, there are apps online. I think like that time we talk about something like GoFundMe and those things. And then people will contribute money. So to support your project. So with this one, the partnership will have to put their business proposal online and people will look at it. And when people see that, no, this is a good project worth investing in, they can contribute money to support you, the business, the partners who have the idea to start the business. Then venture capital. Now, venture capital That's where people also come in. I mean, we have the venture capital trust fund, like a fund where they come into your business and they support your business by way of providing assistance for the business to undertake its projects. So venture capital is a very good source of funding for businesses. So so this one, investors come in to provide some form of equity. So what we are saying is that you have the project. Some investors will come in and give you money to support the project. So they invest their money into it. So with this venture capital, they will come in and partner you. So they will be a partner. You may not have the money, but the venture capitals, capitalists can come in and support you and invest in the business. Then angel investors, I think last time we explained that. So angel investors can also come in to support your business. So by way of assessment, we've come to the end of today's discussion. And by way of assessment, um, I have some few questions for you. So one, evaluate whether a partnership is a better business structure than the sole proprietorship for long-term success. Evaluate whether a partnership is a better business structure than the sole proprietorship for long-term success. Two, explain four challenges a partnership may face. Explain four challenges a partnership may face. And three, explain four sources of funding available to a partnership. Explain four sources of funding available to a partnership. Now, these are just a few questions I want you to try your hands on. So, with that, we come to the end of um, our discussion on partnerships. Partnerships. I think the part one and part two. This today part two is the end of the discussion on the topic partnerships. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. So until we meet again next time, bye bye. I'm your teacher, Kojo Apia Ode. See you next time. Bye bye.